This is a 97 square metre 2-bedroom home nestled into the bush. Coming up, we'll show you footage of the build from start to finish. I'll break down the design and we'll discuss elements of the build in detail. Stick around to the end of the video to see this amazing finished home. Our client came to us already having purchased the section and consented plans already in place. It's a beautiful area that's drenched in sun right now, but it is in a little bit of a gully. This plan here is deceiving for how quickly the section drops away from the road. We knew right away that access was going to be an issue, and it was actually quite hard at first to ascertain exactly where the build was going. The site was covered in a whole bunch of stumps and trees that needed to be removed before we could even start. Once we managed to get a digger down there, we could start with the piles. The boys have done piles, had to drill down 4 to 5 meters, fill it with concrete. This is where we realized there was a massive flaw in the design. Not only was the house way too high out of the ground, it was facing the wrong way. Usually we're involved right at the start in the design process, and this means we can pick up issues like this before we even get work on site. However, it's never too late to stop and fix something, and we decided to pause the build and work through this with the client before we charged on. We ended up flipping the entire build 180 degrees, and we were able to use the existing pile plan that was already in place. So here is the new and improved plan with the living room in the north facing. Here's the revised elevations. You can see a far better integration with the land, still really high in this corner here. Flipping the house is pretty shocking. You know what else is pretty shocking? Only 20% of you are subscribed to NZ Builder. What are the other 80% of you up to? Go ahead, click the subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but it really helps us out. Everything logistically on this site's a bit of a mish, getting it from the road down to site. Here you can see our sub-floor plan. So we used engineered piles, huge poles in the ground. You can see that we used 140 by 90 SJH bearers. There was 5 of them. And we then ran 140 by 45 joists at 400 centers. And to finish off the timber floor, we lay flooring sheets. We usually use products such as strand floor, making sure that it's H3 treated in the wet areas. The flooring sheets go down in no time and really complete the foundation stage. This is a great milestone. We now have a clean, flat surface to work on. So technically we have driveway access over there, but it's shared with a neighbour. It's quite a steep site, and the client mentioned they are never ever going to drive a car down here. And we have road access up there, and we were able to get a 28-metre hire, and we were able to deliver all of our frames to here and slid off and stood here. You can see on this page here the bundles they come in. All of the individual frames are numbered, and on this plan here it shows you all of the lintel fixings we're going to need to tie the top of the frames to the lintels, to the studs, to the bottom plates. Now that the frames are going up, this would be the perfect time to have a look at the floor plan. Coming in from the now north-facing living, we have a large ranch slider into an open plan kitchen, living and dining. Heading down the hallway, we would have a shower on the left and a little study on the right. We have a full walk-in laundry with hot water cupboard and linen cupboard, a bedroom on the right, and the master bedroom down the end nestled into the bush. The master bedroom has a walk-in wardrobe and its own ensuite. This is actually a really cool little floor plan and is achieving a lot for the 97 square meters. So we cracked on with it, we stood frames, we carried on with roof framing. Just like the pre-nail frames, we have a roof truss plan. You can see the back half of the house is made from pre-nail trusses and the front half is made with a large ridge beam and rafters. You can see at both ends of the plan, these things are called outriggers, and the outriggers go from the last truss, they straddle the top plate and hang out to form the soffit framing. Here you can see that the roof was a simple 25-degree gable. Because it was such a straightforward roof, we were able to install this in-house. This meant we could keep our guys on site and keep moving the job along at top speed. You can see here on the roofing plan, it shows where the downpipes are, as well as the strip bracing that we need to install. All of the water collected from the roof will get sent to rainwater tanks. We also then went straight on to doing the metal work on the sides of the building. Cladding it with metal was heaps of extra work. We'll show you some of the details we tackled here in the plans right now. Here is an external corner, and so just like all of our other builds, we still do building wrap in the dashed line here. We do cavity battens. You've got to do 4 on the externals. This is quite common for most weatherboard details. And then we run horizontal vertibat. So vertibat has grooves in it and an angle on the surface so that it dispels water. Then we run our corrugated iron sheets, and then we have a corner flashing that goes over at least 2 ribs. Where it starts to get tricky is when we do windows. This is looking at the side of the window. So standard detail here, you've got your wrap and your cavity batten and your metal coming down, but then you need to get a flashing behind your window and over your cladding. And the thing is, all these flashings need to get custom made, and you don't know where the lap's going to be until you put the metal up and the windows in. And so compared to other processes such as weatherboard, it's a very disjointed process. The window's in, the window's out. You've got to measure this, got to measure that. Yeah, it's fiddly and you have to unpick work. For all those reasons, that's why I prefer to always work with traditional materials such as weatherboard. Now we can move on to working on the inside. We do a pre-wire and a pre-plumb, and we put insulation in the walls. Once this is signed off by the council, we can crack on with internal linings. Jib goes on the wall, the plasterer comes in, we come back, put skirtings up, and now we can paint the inside. It is well and truly starting to feel like a home. Next step is to install the kitchen cabinets and get the stone bench measured. While that's happening, we also start the hard flooring, and on this house here, it is throughout the entire build. Sparky and Plumber come back, we put the heat pump on the wall, and we do our final checks. Let's take a look at the finished home. build got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but once we resolved the design issues and our team had a clear run, we were able to crack on, and we really enjoyed building this 2-bedroom 97 square meter home. It's nestled into the bush, it's really cute, it's a really good thought out floor plan, and we're stoked to be a part of this process.